Alright, we are down in the basement at 2105 Lowell.
Yep.
We're going in beside the washing machine and the laundry to get down into this 4-inch line. Check out our sewer. Our cast iron looks immaculate.
Ain't that nice?
That is a very clean clay tile, cast iron pipe.
Well, I put it in about 10 years ago.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
So there's our clay.
Okay.
And you do have a little bit of a chip right there on the top.
Yeah, I see it.
I'm trying to make sure we haven't gotten into clay already. It looks rough. You got a little piece missing out of there, and there is a big enough gap there for some debris to be falling in.
Yeah. Well, how far is that in? About 19 feet?
19 feet. It's probably right on the other side of the wall there somewhere, but not in a pleasant place to get to.
No, wouldn't be.
I have to let tie low enough to be able to do that. Oh, it's got its own separate line.
Yeah, is it recording the? It records the distance, right?
Yeah, that's about 19-20 feet away. We'll go through the whole thing and see if there's any other issues. I'm about to go through this waste that's trapped here, and I'm going to need a little water. I want it to help move us out, but we're going to get a nasty little limbs here.
Yes, I understand. Got some roots there.
Yeah. Be gone. One stubborn little clump there. Right on the bottom of the limbs. Rinse off. Truly stubborn. Alright. All that just looks like some root remnants all along the top there. Maybe a little bit of scuzzy from where it got backed up. There's some pretty good roots there. Kind of hard to see the union there. I don't see any damage, but there is still quite a bit of root there. You got a huge root still in here too. That one there we just passed through.
Are you pushing that in by hand like that?
Yeah. That's a big root still there. That was a real big root still there.
You just pass it?
Yeah.
It's right there.
Yep. I had to tunnel under it.
Wow.
So your last cleaning, if it was as recent as you were saying, was less than effective. Because that should never be there, especially with a 4-inch access like this.
Yeah.
You can get 4-inch blades in there. You should never leave behind that much roots.
That one?
Yeah.
Okay. So with the root, doesn't that indicate a crack in the line?
No. These unions, that's a normal union. It leaks.
Yeah.
All clay tile pipes leak. Every single one of them leaks.
Okay.
The seals inside them, especially these ones are upwards of 70 to 100 years old. The seals
that's what you're looking at here.
Yeah, the seals inside of them just break down over time and they seep a little water. That water attracts the roots. As long as you cut them every once in a while, they won't damage the pipe. The only time damage comes from that is if settling or something has already caused this to break.
Yeah.
And then you get roots growing in the break. Then they can move it around and cause some problems. But just in general, this is absolutely normal. Every one of your neighbor's pipes looks like this too. There's another really good sized root that's still in there. That one just looks intimidating, but it still was big enough that it should have been cut more than that. How long's it been since the last cleaning?
3 months?
Yeah, that's too much roots to still be there. This one here, we're underwater. Hard to tell why yet, because can't tell if we're pushing some waste or if we'll be approaching another root mass. There's something right there.
Wow, 55 feet. I'm surprised this thing doesn't run out on its own. What I mean by that is like it's got some sort of wheel or something on it that would help it.
Well, There's really not.
That looks like a block.
They did a horrible job of cleaning this. If this was only 3 months ago, I've punched through at least 5 of these at this point that I consider solid enough to cause backups.
Yeah.
And frankly, it's going to be really hard for me to tell you the condition of the pipe out here as long as there's roots this big. I suspect it's just roots at unions looking just like that. We're about out into the alley.
Yeah.
Can't see it. We're going to try to get a little further and clean the lens up. Hopefully we'll find either a spot like that. Hopefully the city sewer will have plenty going through it and we can get cleaned up in that. There was an offset back there that I want to look at, but it looked to me like this kind of an offset. See that spider crawling around there?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But you notice we're running water and there's only a trickle here.
Mm-hmm.
Those roots are capturing that water and slowing it down all the way along through there.
So I should call up Roman Septic Service and say, get out of here and cut the hell out of these roots. That looks like
well,
like a claw.
if they're the ones who did it last, I think maybe you should call someone else. Unless it's under warranty.
They've been pretty good, you know. I mean,
yeah.
What do we got here? There's a break.
That's your tap.
What's the tap?
The tap is where you tie into the city sewer.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, your water's going under the pipe instead of over the top. I'm not even going to be able to get over that. That's not good.
So the septic's going directly into the ground?
You're going to be losing, see where it's all going there?
Yeah.
You're losing a ton of water to the ground underneath it. A ton of water. The only reason it probably flows over is under heavy use. The ground's so saturated out there that it'll fill up enough to float stuff over the top of that. But that's an offset by about that much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the full width of the pipe and then double that for room for water to just escape underneath there.
But that's where the city meets it?
Yeah, I would like to have a cleaner lens, but fortunately there doesn't seem to be a lot of option for that right now. Because a lot of the water coming down is kind of goobery because it's water that's going through all those backed up areas. Let's see if I can find any place where there's a puddle to try to splash it around a little. Unfortunately, all those little spots trap grease and things, and so the water's filled with more crap than it.
Clean, huh?
Yeah, it's actually kind of making it worse, but I'll keep working it.
So basically, out where I'm talking about, all the way out to the road.
I think it's in the alley, yeah. Unfortunately, that's your most expensive repair because the alley requires additional permits. It is the deepest part of the sewer. Where did that one little splash come from right there at the end?
Yeah.
I can't. This almost looks like you're a 4-inch pipe going into a 6-inch pipe, which is common in Denver. But that almost, there's damage there too. It's hard to see, but this is not lined up right, and you see that jagged edge right there?
Yeah.
That's slipped too. That piece here has dropped down. It really isn't affecting much because it's pouring over the top and still flowing. But the fact that it's moved that much and looks like it's chipped some probably means that it's not been real happy with that.
And right there, it's just dumping right into the ground.
Yeah, that's just going into the ground. It still hasn't filled up enough to go over the top of it yet. I imagine your tap's right on the other side of that.
Are we under the alley at this point?
Yeah. We can try to locate this. Shebang.
Well, I'm surprised. I thought it cost less to line the thing instead of more.
Well, like I said, I haven't had a quote from anyone in a long time. I don't even know who does the relining. Most of the reliners that I know of working in the city are working for the city. They're doing the big sewers.
Oh, I got you.
And I don't know any of these people that do the smaller version of it. I just can't get that nasty off that lens. Let's see if any of those big holding areas drained out at all after I punched a hole through them. Quite a few of them were big enough that they just flopped right back in and sealed behind me. See it less though.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's a big tunnel. That's more roots than should be back already in 3 months. It really is.
Yeah, look at that. It's like a little hole like that.
That one is a big one. That's 1.5 feet of solid root. And that's why that is probably why we went through that whole 15, 20 foot section that we're underwater. Because you saw that thing fall right back into place and seal it right back up. And unfortunately, that means there's an entire stretch here where we can't see what the pipe looks like. This thing's loaded with roots. Almost looks like they used a smaller blade than a 4-inch.
Yeah, it does. Look at that. It's just kind of...
Yeah, they're big. Any one of those could have backed you up by now. If you had more than just you here, you probably would have experienced another one by now. But you're probably not using enough water to... That's another hard one.
Look at that. It's like a root ball down there.
Yeah, and you see all that crap stuck to the top? That's from backups it causes.
Yeah.
That's waste that would normally never touch the top of the pipe, but because it's holding water from the roots, you get gunk all over the top. We're about back to the cast iron, where we saw that chip missing right there. I mean, there's not a ton coming in it yet, but that's a pretty good size hole, and you can see the dirt.
Yeah, you can. What the hell? I wonder where that, just the roots ate through it and just eventually just fell, huh?
Well, what you also have there, we're going to go ahead and stop the recording because you've seen the rest.